Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Nexus and welcome to our Hell in a Cell pay-per-view review. What can I say? It was rubbish. That's all I'm going to say about it because it was so poor. There was no build-up to any of the matches or anything like that. So let's get straight in. Overall, I thought the pay-per-view was okay. I think the end ruined it, just like SmackDown did this week. The end ruined it. So let's get dived in. First match, we get the Raw Women's Hell in a Cell match for the Raw Women's title against Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. Excellent match. Excellent. Really, really kick it off on a high gear. But I think they should have maybe had that match later on because it was really good. There was tables, ladders, chairs, the kendo sticks. They were using everything, hands down. Even though we've got a few more matches to go, this was the best match of the whole card, in my opinion. The best match. The women are kicking ass at the moment. With the men, they don't really know what they're doing, but this one had build up for quite a while, and the payoff was really, really good. The match was good. The match was really good. Obviously, Becky Lynch won, so she is still the Raw Women's Champion. Sasha Banks got defeated. I don't really know where Sasha Banks will, where Sasha Banks is based now. I don't know where she's going now. I don't know what the momentum is. She's fought Becky Lynch twice for the title and lost, so I don't really know what progresses for that now. I don't really know how we move on. Obviously got Monday Night Raw coming up, so hopefully something else for Becky Lynch going forward, but maybe something else. Then we have a tag team match. Now, it was a tag team match, but it's now a tornado tag team match. There's no tagging in and out between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns versus obviously the Bludgeon Brothers, but they've just come out as Luke and Harper and Rowan. So I don't really know. Obviously, it was a decent match. We've seen once again, it had build up. Once again, this match had build up. So we were kind of expecting it. It was really good, on and off. It was great they didn't have to tag in, so there was a lot of action in and out. The tables broke. They were fighting out the ring. They were fighting in the ring. It was chaos, but it was really good. I mean, at one point, Rowan picked up the guard barrier near the bell keeper and literally chucked it at the crowd, at Roman Reigns, nearly hitting the crowd. So it was a decent match. It was a decent match. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't the best match of the night, but it was a decent second match, in my opinion. So the first two matches on the card were the best matches, in my opinion. Best. So obviously Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, they win. Obviously Roman Reigns puts his hand out and Daniel Bryan goes no, walks off. Everyone boos, and then he does the hug. This also reminds me of obviously Team Hell No, where they went through this hugging stage and stuff like that. But that was that. Sorry about that. That was that one. Then we had a match out of nowhere. Randy Orton versus Ali. It is what it is. There was no build up to this. No idea why they were fighting on a pay-per-view. It just seemed like a match you would see on Raw or SmackDown. It didn't really have any substance to it. Obviously, Randy Orton won. Ali got a really nasty injury to his chest area, down his side here, which the camera kept painting on and stuff like that. But obviously, he got out of an RKO out of nowhere, but another RKO and Ali's finished. So I don't really know where these two go forward after this. Like I said, it was just a match sort of plonked together. There was no concept to it. There's no back to it. It was just like I'm saying, it was like a match you would see on Raw or SmackDown, but this is a pay-per-view, so there should be something there, but there just wasn't. Then we get a women's tag team title match. Obviously, the Kibosh Warriors versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. The Kibosh Warriors are a strange one. They were formed by Paige. She was their manager, and then sort of disappeared, and now she doesn't come out with them at all. So I don't really know what's happening there. Oh, Mike, someone. Hi, Mike. How's everything? Thanks for joining. Yeah, so I don't really know what was going on there with. There was some build-up. We knew that the Kibosh Warriors were eventually going to go for the women's tag team titles. We didn't really know what was going on with that. And they haven't had a lot of screen time. They haven't been wrestling on screen for a lot lately. Anyway, this match was thrown together. This match was thrown together, and the Kibosh Warriors seem to be they seem to have like a heel turn, so they became the heels. Obviously, Asuka with the green mist in Nikki's cross face. 1, 2, 3. We now have new women tag team champions. There is a rumor going around that they're actually going to retire the women's tag team titles, even though they've only just been introduced like, what is it, 8 or 9 months ago. So I don't really know what's going on. We're having the draft where there officially going to be no cross barriers or cross border or brand or whatever. So I don't know what's really happening with 2 titles, actually, the women's tag team title and the 24/7 one, because both of them can cross. They may still keep them. Even on the commentary, they mentioned that the women's tag team titles can be defended on Raw and SmackDown. So I'm wondering whether they'll keep that or not. I personally would love them to keep. I personally would love them to keep the. I would personally love them to keep the Raw women, the women's tag team titles. 1, because they look good. 2, because I think it'd be a step back if they took them away now. And they're supposed to be pushing women's wrestling and women's evolution and all that sort of stuff. But once again, they've slapped them on someone. Whether we see the Kibosh Warriors on Raw, we probably won't. That's the gist of it. Then we get a match that we've had a few times now. Even on Raw and SmackDown, we've had this a few times now. We get Braun Strowman and the Viking Warriors taking on the OC. You've also realised that we still haven't had an Intercontinental match or US match or US title match, even though AJ is in the OC and he's a US champion. Anyway, there's a lot of fighting going on. There's a disqualification with the OC, and obviously Braun Strowman and the Viking Raiders pick up the win via DQ. Once again, this was a throwaway match. One it could have easily done or have done many times on Raw and SmackDown. So thanks, Mike, for the first like. Yeah, so and then we get another match. Now I'm going to call this a rubber match because we've had this 1, 2. I think this is maybe the 3rd or I think this is 4th time maybe we've had this match, but we get Baron Corbin versus Chad Gable once again, and I hope this is the last time they fight. Chad Gable won, obviously. It was all down to the short jokes. Oh, he's too short. Oh, this blah 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 blah. Even the commentator later on in the show goes up to Chad Gable and goes, "Shorty" or something. It's like, did I just hear that? That's really weird. Anyway, it was a fairly good match. Chad Gable's a really good asset that they are misusing in so many ways, especially against Corbin. Corbin's a good wrestler. Let's just put it this way. We're designed not to like Baron Corbin because he's a heel, but Baron Corbin is actually a pretty good damn wrestler, and I think them pushing him as King Corbin is quite a good thing for him, and maybe that will elevate him slightly on the heat he got when he was sort of general manager or someone in charge. But yeah, we had that, and then we get to I would only call the disaster of the night, the last match of the night, Universal Championship match, Seth Rollins versus The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, now is he The Fiend Bray Wyatt, or is he just The Fiend? I'm just going to call him The Fiend and not Bray Wyatt The Fiend, whatever. But this match is a Hell in a Cell match. Okay, so there's no disqualifications. You can do anything you want. There is no way this is going to stop unless you are pinned or submitted. This is it. The match is fairly on and off. Seth Rollins gets the upper hand really, really quickly, and he can't seem to put him down. And there's all this back to forth action, and then what happens is Seth Rollins grabs a toolbox from under the ring, smashes it over him, gets a sledgehammer, which is all perfect. I mean, we've seen Hell in a Cell matches where they've used things like screwdrivers and hammers on each other. Anyway, he grabs a sledgehammer, he's piled all these chairs up, and he whacks the chairs with the hammer a few times, and the ref goes, no, stop it, stop. And I don't know if it was a disqualification or what. It was such a weird, and the crowd erupted. I mean, they were just boos, and I have to be agreeing with them. That was awful. They stopped the match. They get a stretcher down for the Fiend. Now, this is a character that they've made up, which is supposed to be sort of a supernatural guy. Then the cage gets risen up. Seth Rollins sort of half there. Then the Fiend sort of gets up and starts beating him, pulls up the mat. The crowd are still booing because the match is over. Seth Rollins is still the Universal Champion because of I don't really know. You can't get disqualified. I don't know what happened. Why did they stop the match? Anyway, the Fiend starts beating him up, and then we get the last bit where he's doing the mandible claw, and Seth Rollins is spewing blood, loads and loads of blood everywhere, and that's where it ends. Now, reports afterwards, after it went off the air, off on the network, there was massive boos, AEW chants, and refund chants. If I was there, I'd be asking for a refund. It was an awful end to, let's face it, a not very good pay-per-view. The first two matches were, in my book, the best matches, and the first match should have been the last. I mean, they ruined this match. I mean, they ruined Hell in a Cell as well for The Fiend and Seth Rollins. The problem is, as well, is there's going to be a draft, and I think they want The Fiend on SmackDown, but they also want Brock Lesnar, meaning Seth Rollins will have to stay on Raw, whoever is the Universal Champion. So they couldn't give the title to The Fiend. I think what they've done here, there's going to be some damage control because they're going to have to make Seth look strong, and The Fiend still, after whatever that fiasco was. I don't even know how you explain it. Why couldn't you just book a normal match between the two of them and then have it as a DQ? Why do a Hell in a Cell match knowing full well that there's no other option in it? So I still don't know why it was DQ'd. I mean, not only that, it was a Hell in a Cell match. I mean, these people, I mean, there are people that have sweated blood, sweat and tears in this match and have injured themselves in a match like this. For a match to be like that is very disrespectful, but we shall see. I mean, Monday Night Raw's on tonight. I'll be doing a review on that tomorrow, so make sure you check out that. But yeah, it is what it is. For me, the first two matches were the best two. The women's match was the best out of them all. The Hell in a Cell women's title match for the Raw Women's title. Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks should be held up high, heads up high, because it was just so good. We also had, I've missed the match now. We also had Charlotte, Flair, and Bailey. That was really slipped under there. I've really just forgotten about that. Another one that was sort of built, and obviously Charlotte won. Bailey lost her temper at ringside, started smashing up, saying no. It was an okay match. But once again, I don't really know what they're doing with Bailey at the moment. Yeah, I don't really know what they're doing with Bailey. I don't know whether I'm still finding it hard to see her as a heel. But that is, I nearly forgot that. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, that is. I am having a rant. It was an awful pay-per-view, Mike. It was awful. Apart from the first two matches. But anyway, that is my review. I'm going to give this pay-per-view a 5 out of 10 because it was the crowd had a right to be angry at the end. I think if you paid 17 quid on Sky Sports for this, I'd be demanding a refund. I'm glad that I have the WWE Network so I can watch all these whenever they come up. We've got Raw tonight, so hopefully let's wipe that slate clean. Let's get forward. We are going on to Crown Jewel, which is actually on Halloween, the 31st of October. So dead on Halloween. It'll be interesting to see how they do the Seth Rollins Fiend thing. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. But that was my review. I hope you like it. It is what it is. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you tomorrow for Monday Night Raw. Remember to follow us on Twitter. There's my Twitter handle. And if you'd like to come on, just check us out. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.